Ladies, let me tell you something that'll bless your soul and strengthen your spirit. See, when a man hurts you, when he walks away from you, lies to you, betrays your love, plays with your time, or forgets your worth, you don't get even. Nah, you don't scream, you don't beg, you don't even explain. You confuse him. You confuse him by doing the very thing he never saw coming. You elevate. You become unbothered. You step into your power so gracefully, it shakes the very ground he's standing on. You confuse him when you don't chase him. You chase your purpose. You confuse him when you don't cry to him. You cry to God. You confuse him when you don't argue. You rise. Let me tell you something. A woman's silence mixed with her glow. Up, that's the loudest noise a man can't handle. He was expecting you to fall apart, to be broken, to lose your way. But instead, you put that pain in your purse and you walked like a queen. You confuse him when you start smiling for no reason, because now your joy isn't attached to his approval, it's anchored in your peace. And peace, oh, peace is powerful. Peace says, I could fight you, but I won't. I could drag your name, but I'm better than that. I could stoop low, but I'm rising too high to crawl. You confuse him when you stop making him your world and start making yourself your priority. When he sees you out there chasing your goals, walking in confidence, laughing again, that's when he gets confused. See, people expect you to stay broken when they break you. But when you get better instead of bitter, that's when you win. That's when your silence screams, I'm good without you. That's when your peace says, your absence didn't destroy me, it delivered me. You want to confuse a man who hurt you. Don't retaliate, rebuild. Don't clap back. Level up. Don't post about him. Post your progress. Don't lose sleep over him. Rest in the arms of healing. Because here's the truth. When you rise without revenge, when you move on with grace, when you love yourself louder than you ever loved him, that's the kind of confusion no man sees coming. So to every woman out there who's been hurt, betrayed, or left behind, this ain't your ending. This is your elevation. Let them be confused while you go be unstoppable. Confuse. This word isn't just about playing games or being clever, it's about shifting the power without ever having to raise your voice. When someone hurts you, especially someone you trusted, the natural instinct is to react. Maybe to cry, to shout, to prove a point, to let them know how much they've damaged you. But confusion is power in silence. Confusing him means you don't move the way he expected you to. He expected pain, chaos, maybe a breakdown. What he didn't expect was silence. What he didn't anticipate was your strength. To confuse him is to rise when he thought you'd fall. It's to glow when he thought he dimmed your light. It's to carry yourself like royalty while he's still stuck in the same cycle of immaturity and ego. See, confusion happens when you don't match his energy. You protect your own. You don't beg him to stay. You let the door hit him on the way out, and then you lock it, not out of spite, but because you now know your worth. The confusion comes when he sees you laughing, smiling, not bothered, not calling, not texting, not checking his status or lurking on his page. He's waiting for the drama that never shows up. He's watching for the tears that don't fall. That's the confusion. He thought he was the center of your world, and now he realizes you've always been your own universe. You confuse him when you redirect your energy from fighting to flourishing, when he expects fire and you bring calm, when he expects chaos and you offer stillness. And here's where it gets deep. Confusion is not just for him. It's a pathway to healing for you. See, when you choose not to engage in drama, not to entertain foolishness, you're not avoiding conflict. You're choosing clarity. You're saying, I'm not giving this pain a permanent address in my soul. You confuse him not to be petty, but to protect your peace. You stop giving explanations to someone who was never listening. You stop trying to convince someone who already made a choice. Instead, you make your own choice to move forward, to evolve, to let go. Confusing someone who hurt you is an act of quiet resistance. It's not about vengeance, it's about victory. And the most powerful victory is when you level up so high, they can't even reach you with their old tactics. You confuse him when you don't respond to his texts, not with anger, but with indifference, not with bitterness, but with boundaries. You confuse him when you don't look back because there's nothing behind you worth turning around for. He expected you to shrink. You expanded. He expected you to suffer. You thrived. He expected a scene. You gave him silence. That's the confusion that hits different. It makes him question what he lost. It makes him reflect on the woman he underestimated. And the truth is, some people only realize your value when they see you living like you never needed their validation in the first place. To confuse a man who hurt you is not a strategy, it's a declaration. You're saying, I don't need to prove anything to you. My growth will speak for me. My peace will answer for me. My progress will handle what my words don't need to. You confuse him by not giving him the satisfaction of seeing you broken. You don't hide your scars, but you wear them with pride because they remind you of everything you survived. And confusion has another layer. It protects you from the cycle. Because if you engage, if you get dragged back into the drama, you stay stuck. But when you confuse him by walking away, he no longer has access. He can't push your buttons when you've changed the remote. He can't pull the same strings when you've cut the cords. That's the kind of confusion that creates space for your healing. It takes strength to confuse someone through your calm. It takes wisdom to choose growth over revenge. But once you do, you begin to see yourself differently. You're not just a woman who got hurt. You're a woman who turned hurt into healing, pain into purpose, and confusion into clarity. And the moment he realizes that the old version of you no longer exists, that's the moment he becomes truly confused. Let him wonder. Let him sit in silence while you shine. Let him ask questions while you find answers within yourself. Don't chase closure. Be the closure. Be the ending to your own story and the beginning of something far greater. Because when you confuse a man who tried to break you, you're not just winning. You're rewriting the narrative. Peace is not something you stumble upon after the storm. It's a decision you make in the middle of the storm. It's the power of choosing calm when everything inside you wants to scream. It's choosing silence over drama, stillness over chaos, and healing over hurting. When someone wounds you, when a man breaks your heart or plays with your emotions, the natural thing to do is react. But true power comes from knowing that you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Peace is the highest form of strength. Holding on to your peace doesn't mean you're weak, or that you're letting him get away with what he did. It means you're valuing yourself too much to let someone else's behavior control your emotional state. When he hurts you and expects you to fall apart, your peace is what confuses him. He's looking for a war, and you offer him a quiet battlefield. No bullets, no words, just distance. Peace says, I won't give you the satisfaction of watching me lose myself. Peace is knowing who you are, even when someone tries to redefine you by their actions. When a man hurts you, you can either carry that pain or you can carry your peace. But you can't carry both. Pain will make you react, lash out, act outside your character. Peace will make you pause, breathe, think. Peace gives you the space to see the truth clearly. It protects you from saying things you'll regret. It shields you from making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. It lets you rise above, and when you rise above, you take away his power to keep you stuck in that same cycle. There's a reason peace is so rare, because it's hard. It's hard not to answer that text. It's hard not to clap back. It's hard not to post that message just to prove a point. But peace whispers to you, You're bigger than this. Peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It's a bold statement that says, I don't need revenge. I don't need validation. I just need my sanity, my joy, my future. Peace is what helps you rest at night. It's what gives you clarity in the morning. It's what reminds you that your life is too valuable to be wasted on someone who couldn't handle your heart. A peaceful woman is not one who never gets angry. She's the one who knows how to channel that anger into something greater. She'll go to the gym instead of going off. She'll start a business instead of starting a fight. She'll level up in silence instead of spiraling out in public. That's the kind of peace that shifts atmospheres. That's the kind of peace that causes people to wonder, how is she still standing? And that confusion, that mystery, that's where your power lies. Peace allows you to walk away without burning the bridge. Not because you ever plan to cross it again, but because you don't want to carry the smoke with you. You don't want bitterness in your lungs. You don't want hate in your heart. Peace cleans you from the inside out. It doesn't mean you forget what he did. It means you refuse to let it define how you move forward. Peace means protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because sometimes it really does. There's a certain glow that comes with peace. Your skin clears up. Your smile becomes real again. Your eyes stop searching for explanations and start reflecting confidence. That glow, it's not makeup. It's not money. It's not validation from a man. It's peace. Real peace can't be bought, borrowed, or begged for. You cultivate it by choosing it daily, choosing not to respond, choosing not to engage, choosing not to entertain anyone or anything that disturbs your spirit. Peace is also contagious. When you live in peace, people notice. They want to know how you're so calm, so unshaken. They want to know why nothing rattles you anymore. And the truth is, it's because you've learned that chaos isn't your home anymore. You've outgrown the need to prove anything. You've realized that not every battle is yours to fight. Some are distractions, meant to pull you back into a place you've already healed from. Peace is knowing the difference. So when a man hurts you, don't respond the way he expects. Don't blow up his phone. Don't beg for answers. Don't fight for someone who already gave up the fight. Choose peace instead. Let it guide you, center you, rebuild you. Let it fill the spaces where anger used to live. Let it teach you how to love yourself more deeply than you ever loved him. Because once you've tasted peace, you won't settle for anything less. Not from a man, not from life, and especially not from yourself. Elevate is a word that holds weight beyond its sound. It means rising above, but not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When someone hurts you, especially someone you gave your heart to, the pain can pull you down so fast you don't even realize you're sinking. But the power of elevation is that you refuse to stay at the level where the hurt happened. You rise not because it's easy, but because staying low is no longer an option. When a man hurts you, one of the strongest and most confusing responses is to elevate. You turn the heartbreak into a launch pad, the betrayal into a breakthrough. Elevation starts inside. It's not about showing off, it's about growing within. It's about saying, I won't be defined by what broke me. You begin to ask yourself deeper questions. What can I learn from this? How can I become better, wiser, stronger from this pain? Elevation is when you look at the ashes and say, watch me build again. When you stop blaming and start building, when you stop chasing people and start chasing purpose. That's what elevation looks like. It's silent sometimes. It doesn't always make noise. It happens in early mornings when you choose discipline over distraction. It happens in quiet nights when you pray instead of panic. It's in the decision to take care of your health, your goals, your peace, even when your heart is still healing. A woman who elevates after being hurt is a powerful force. She's no longer waiting for an apology to move on. She's no longer stuck in what could have been. She's focused on what's next. Elevation requires work. It means investing in yourself, reading more, healing deeper, removing people who dim your light, even if it's lonely at first. But the higher you go, the clearer things become. You start to see that the people who left were never meant to stay. You understand that the pain wasn't the end of your story. It was the plot twist that set you on a new path. Sometimes elevation looks like setting boundaries that feel uncomfortable but necessary. You start to say no to what drains you, yes to what grows you. You choose relationships that pour into you, not ones that empty you. You surround yourself with people who speak life into you, not confusion. And when he looks back and sees that you've evolved into a version of yourself he never even imagined, that's when the confusion hits him hard. Because you were supposed to be broken, bitter, stuck. Instead, you became focused, peaceful, unstoppable. Elevation doesn't require revenge. It doesn't need closure. It doesn't even need acknowledgement. It's personal. It's between you and the woman you're becoming. And in that space of growth, you realize that the pain had a purpose. It taught you how to elevate without applause, how to soar without being seen, how to build silently until your results speak for you. That kind of elevation turns heads, not because you're trying to be seen, but because you're walking in a different kind of energy. A woman who elevates doesn't need to explain why she stopped answering calls or texts. Her absence is the answer. Her peace is the proof. Her glow is the response. When you choose elevation, you stop waiting for someone to save you and realize you've been the hero all along. You begin to carry yourself differently. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop doubting and start deciding. Every move becomes intentional. Every step takes you higher. And understand this elevation isn't linear. It comes with moments of doubt, days where you feel like slipping back into old habits, old thinking. But the difference now is that you catch yourself. You remind yourself who you are. You've seen what it feels like to grow, and you don't want to go back to who you were when he hurt you. That version of you is gone. She served her purpose. She felt the pain, but the elevated version, she's walking into rooms with confidence, choosing joy over judgment, choosing faith over fear. The most powerful elevation happens when you stop proving yourself and start improving yourself. You don't compete. You don't compare. You just keep climbing. And yes, sometimes the climb is quiet, lonely, even painful, but the view is worth it. The peace is worth it. The healing is worth it. So when a man hurts you, don't just survive, elevate. Don't just cry, grow. Don't just move on, level up. Let your evolution confuse him. Let your strength speak volumes. Let your peace be loud. And most of all, let your elevation be the loudest silence he's ever heard. Because a woman who chooses to rise, regardless of what was meant to break her, is a woman who becomes unstoppable. Unbothered is not about pretending like nothing happened. It's about reaching a place within yourself where what once triggered you no longer holds that same power. It's not that the pain wasn't real or that the heartbreak didn't cut deep. It's that you made the decision to not let it control your emotions anymore. Being unbothered is not indifference, it's intentional. You chose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, growth over grudges. When a man hurts you and expects to see you crumble, being unbothered is the boldest statement you can make without saying a word. To be unbothered means to protect your spirit. It means you no longer allow someone else's behavior to dictate your mood, your day, or your self-worth. It doesn't mean you don't feel low, you feel, but you've trained your heart not to stay in the hurt. You feel it, process it, and release it. You don't hold on to it, wear it like a badge, or let it become your identity. That's what unbothered really is. It's emotional maturity, it's growth, it's wisdom. And that kind of wisdom confuses people who are used to controlling others through emotional manipulation. When a man expects you to be chasing him, crying for him, needing his attention to feel validated, and instead he sees you laughing, glowing, moving forward, that's when he gets confused. He'll try to figure out how you're not reacting. He might poke you with silence, disappear, and expect you to fall apart. But you don't. You keep showing up for yourself. You keep growing, loving, healing. That's what being unbothered does. It gives you the power back. You're no longer waiting on someone else to fix what they broke. You're rebuilding yourself without asking for permission. Being unbothered is also about discipline. It takes strength to not respond to things that used to hurt you, to not scroll back through old messages, to not overanalyze what went wrong, to not wish for a different outcome. It takes discipline to keep your focus on your future instead of your past. And the more you practice it, the lighter you feel. The peace that comes with being unbothered isn't loud, but it's powerful. It allows you to smile genuinely, to walk into rooms without tension, to love again without fear. There will be people who mistake your unbothered nature for arrogance or coldness, but you'll know it's not about them. It's about choosing you, choosing not to give away your emotional energy to things that no longer serve you. It's about recognizing that you're not responsible for other people's actions, but you are responsible for how you respond to them. And your response now, it's stillness, it's boundaries, it's protecting your inner peace like it's your greatest asset, because it is. The real beauty of being unbothered is that it shifts your focus inward. Instead of obsessing over what he's doing, who he's with, what he's thinking, you start asking yourself, what do I need? What does my healing look like? What makes me feel alive again? You become your own priority. You show up for yourself in ways that he never did. You learn how to enjoy your own company, how to create your own joy, how to trust yourself again. That's the transformation. That's the power in not being bothered. And in time, you'll see the effects. Your conversations change. Your circle gets smaller but stronger. Your goals become clearer. Your decisions align with your growth. And when people from your past try to re-enter your life, you won't need to prove how far you've come. They'll feel it. In the way you no longer react. In the way your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. That's when they realize they no longer have access to you in the way they once did. Being unbothered also means accepting that closure might never come from the one who hurt you. You become your own closure. You forgive not for him but for yourself. You let go not because he deserves peace but because you do. You rise not out of revenge but because staying low no longer matches your energy. And every time you choose peace over pettiness, clarity over chaos, love over resentment, you grow. That's the power of being unbothered. So when he sees you, months later, living, thriving, creating, building, smiling with a joy that has nothing to do with him, that's when he realizes what he lost. And that realization, that's not your concern, because the woman you've become has moved on. She's not bitter. She's not cold. She's just done. She's focused. She's grounded. She's unbothered. And that is the most powerful version of you. Good evening, family. I need you to lend me your ears, because tonight I'm talking about something we don't do nearly enough, minding our own business with purpose. Yeah, I said it. See, The moment you decide to focus on yourself and hush the noise, that's the moment life stops dragging you around by the collar and starts opening doors you didn't even know were in the building. Listen, everybody's got an opinion about what you should be doing. Folks will critique your shoes, your haircut, your bank account. People who can't balance their own checkbooks will gladly balance yours. But here's the truth. Opinions don't pay rent, and critics don't cut checks. So why are you letting outsiders run the interior of your life? Silence is the ultimate eviction notice. When you go quiet, the uninvited have to move on. Silence is not just the absence of noise. It is a powerful and strategic tool. In a world where everyone is constantly talking, posting, sharing, and reacting, choosing to remain silent is a bold move. It shows maturity, discipline, and control. Silence allows space for thinking, observing, and planning. When you're silent, you're not giving away your intentions, and that gives you a unique advantage. People can't sabotage what they don't know. They can't interfere with plans they haven't heard about. This makes silence a shield, a form of protection against unnecessary opinions, doubt, and negativity. Many people believe silence means weakness or submission. They think if you're not clapping back or constantly defending yourself, you're losing. But that's a misunderstanding. True power doesn't need to be loud. Think about the strongest forces in nature. An earthquake, a tsunami, even gravity. None of these announce themselves. They move in silence, and when they show up, nothing stays the same. In the same way, when you focus on your journey quietly, the results you produce will speak louder than any words ever could. Silence doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you're doing something so valuable that it doesn't require validation. Silence also brings clarity. When you're not surrounded by noise, distractions, or the need to respond to every opinion, your mind sharpens. You start hearing your own voice more clearly, the one that knows what you want, what matters to you, and where you're going. You're able to assess situations better, spot opportunities that others miss, and move with intention rather than impulse. It's during quiet moments that the best ideas are born, because there's room for thought to breathe. You can't find clarity in chaos, but you will find it in silence. One of the most important roles of silence is its connection to discipline. It takes strength to stay silent when you're being underestimated, criticized, or doubted. It takes maturity not to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. But when you master that level of silence, you become unstoppable. You no longer need to prove anything. You allow your results, your progress, and your peace to do the talking. That's when your silence becomes your loudest statement. In a time when everyone is busy talking about what they're going to do, silence sets you apart. You're not talking, you're doing, you're not posting, you're building. You're not explaining, you're executing. And when the world finally sees the fruit of your labor, your silence will be remembered as the season when greatness was born in you. That's the kind of silence that changes lives, not just your own, but the lives of everyone who eventually benefits from your growth. So silence, when understood and used wisely, is not emptiness. It's power under control, waiting for the right moment to release. Focus is one of the most valuable skills you can develop if you want to achieve something real in your life. In a world full of distractions, phones buzzing, social media pulling at your attention, people telling you what you should be doing, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But when you lock in on yourself and your goals, everything begins to change. Focus clears the fog. It's the decision to keep your eyes on your own paper, your energy on your own path, and your time invested in your own future. When you focus, you stop giving away pieces of yourself to things that don't serve you. You start filtering out the noise and zeroing in on what moves the needle forward. That means instead of worrying about who's watching, who's winning, or who's talking about you, you get serious about your own work. You wake up with purpose and you move with intention. You stop chasing approval and you start chasing progress. And with every step you take, your confidence builds, not because you've arrived, but because you know you're on the way. Focus also means learning to say no. No to distractions, no to drama, and no to detours that lead nowhere. It's easy to get pulled off course by other people's problems, trends that don't fit your values, or temptations that offer short-term pleasure but long-term pain. But when your focus is strong, you learn to protect your time like it's your greatest asset, because it is. Every minute you spend on something that doesn't matter is a minute stolen from your dreams. Focus helps you spend your energy wisely. It's also important to understand that focus isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. Some days it'll be easy. Other days you'll feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. But if you keep coming back to your mission, your focus will sharpen over time. You'll train your mind to resist the urge to scatter, and instead concentrate deeply on what builds you. This is how people turn average effort into exceptional outcomes, not by doing more, but by doing what matters most with greater intensity. And here's the beautiful thing. When you focus on yourself, people notice. Not because you're telling them what you're doing, but because they can feel the shift in your energy. You become more grounded, more centered, and more driven. Your results speak louder than your words ever could. Focus allows you to glow without seeking the spotlight, to rise without asking for applause, and to win without needing to prove anything to anybody. So, focus is more than just attention. It's commitment. It's direction. It's the decision to pour into your own cup, water your own garden, and build your own future without letting the outside world dictate your moves. And when you truly embrace that, everything around you starts to align, not because it magically got easier, but because you got sharper, you got clearer, you got focused. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the quiet, daily decision to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline isn't about perfection or motivation. It's about consistency. It's the small choices, repeated over time, that create the big results everyone sees and admires. Without discipline, dreams remain dreams, but with it, you can transform even the most impossible goals into reality. Most people wait to feel inspired before they act, but discipline doesn't wait. Discipline shows up whether you feel like it or not. It wakes you up early when you'd rather sleep in. It tells you to study, train, grind, or create even when you're tired, stressed, or bored. It doesn't make a big announcement. It doesn't need applause. It just gets the job done, and that's what separates people who talk about success from people who actually achieve it. Discipline is also about managing yourself, not controlling others. It's not about trying to change your circumstances through force. It's about changing your responses. You might not be able to control how fast things happen for you, but you can control how you show up every single day. That means staying focused when distractions are tempting. That means working on your goals when nobody is watching. That means keeping your standards high even when nobody's checking on you. Discipline is personal. It's a promise you make to yourself, and you keep it. Not because someone is holding you accountable, but because your future depends on it. Sometimes discipline looks like sacrifice. You'll have to let go of comfort to embrace growth. That might mean turning off the TV to work on your side hustle. That might mean skipping that night out to invest in your health or education. And yes, it can be uncomfortable, but every time you choose discipline over ease, you're voting for the future you want to build. You're telling the universe, I'm serious about this. And the universe listens when you move with intention. Another powerful part of discipline is that it builds trust. Trust in yourself. When you prove to yourself that you can follow through, that you can stay committed, that you can get up when you fall, your confidence grows. You stop doubting your abilities and start believing in your consistency, and that belief becomes fuel. It makes it easier to keep going, even when progress feels slow, because you know you're building something real. So, discipline isn't punishment, it's power. It's the secret sauce behind every successful person. It's what keeps you moving when motivation fades. It's what carries you through the hard seasons and prepares you for the moments of breakthrough. Discipline is the quiet force behind every great achievement. It won't always feel good in the moment, but the results, they're always worth it. Execution is where everything you believe, everything you plan, and everything you say either becomes real or stays a fantasy. Ideas are good, plans are important, but without execution, nothing happens. Execution is doing. It's the act of putting energy behind your intentions. It's waking up and taking the step, not just talking about it. You can have the best dream in the world, but if you don't move, if you don't act, that dream will collect dust in your mind until it fades away. A lot of people get caught up in the thinking phase. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect feeling. But perfection is a lie. If you wait until everything feels just right, you'll be waiting your whole life. Execution isn't about perfect timing. It's about taking imperfect action. It's starting with what you have, where you are, and doing what you can. Because once you start, you learn. Once you begin, you grow. Execution brings momentum, and momentum brings progress. Another thing about execution, it separates the talkers from the doers. Anybody can post about goals, make a vision board, or say I'm grinding. But real execution is quiet. It's happening behind the scenes. It's early mornings, late nights, and weekends when everyone else is relaxing. It's showing up again and again, even when the results aren't instant. It's being consistent even when no one is clapping for you. Execution doesn't always feel glamorous, but it always produces results in the end. Execution is also where fear meets courage, because when you actually start doing, doubt will show up. You'll question yourself, wonder if you're good enough, worry about what others might think. But the only way to silence those fears is through action. Every time you execute, even in fear, you prove to yourself that you can. And over time, you become someone who doesn't just dream, but someone who builds. Someone who doesn't just hope, but someone who produces. That's a different level of strength. It's also important to understand that execution isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. You don't just act once and expect your life to change. You act daily. You build discipline into your schedule. You create routines that support your goals. Execution becomes your habit, not your reaction. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. And when you live like that, you create a pattern of success. You may not see it overnight, but one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come simply because you kept showing up and doing the work. So, execution is the key that unlocks every door you've been standing in front of. It doesn't require perfection, applause, or permission. It just requires movement. Start small, start quiet, but start, and then keep going. Because your success won't come from what you say, it will come from